Welcome to your upper body fascia release. For this lesson, you will need some sort of elevation. I have 2 blocks side by side here that are the same height. You could use an ottoman, a coffee table, or books. Books are great. So if we have books these days, right? All right, so we're going to come on to our hands and knees to begin. Get a little cushion underneath your knees if you need to. Knees are apart and feet are together. Bringing your hands up onto your elevation. Find your neutral posture. Double check. Look at all these places my pelvis has to go. I want it to be neutral, so I don't want it tucked and I don't want it untucked. You want to find neutral so that you have the integration of your upper body to your lower body. So your pelvis and rib cage are in alignment. And if you're standing, they would be stacked. All right. Once you're here, press your hands down firmly into your surface. Naturally, your knees will start to resist forward, and you're going to pull your hips back towards your heels, all the while pressing down onto your surface. Good. And relax to come back up. Adjust if you need to pull back further from where your hands are so you have more room to move back. Press your hands firmly down. Keep pressing them down. Feel it in the chest. Feel it in your lats. Neck is in neutral. And now once you're here, reset those hands. Contract the arm muscles everywhere and let your shoulders dip down. The goal here is not to go as far as you can or to dip to the floor. The goal is to keep even muscle contraction in both arms, your pecs on both sides, and also super important that your shoulder blades are not out of joint, meaning you have your humeral head really set in the joint space, and your subscapularis, the deep rotator cuff muscle underneath your scapula, between your scapula and your rib cage, is contracted to keep your shoulders set. So they shouldn't be mobile here. You shouldn't have any shoulder pain. If you do, then don't go as far. Just start here and maybe move an inch or so back, as long as you're able to keep the shoulders in the right place. If you're moving back further, play with your tailbone position. Your tailbone can be up, it can be down. Wherever it is, it's not right or wrong, but I want you to be able to move it a little bit and notice what changes with what you feel. When I tuck my tailbone down or towards the floor, I feel it more isolated between my shoulder blades. When I lift it up, I feel it more in the front body. Play with that. Good. Keep pressing down. Relax to come back up. Coming out for a second to shake it out. That can be pretty intense. Make sure your shoulders are happy. Again, you're not trying to work through something, especially something that causes pain. We're trying to increase mobility. So we're working with what you have and what's safe for your body and your shoulders. Let's come back up again. Taking both hands slightly to the right. Hands are going to press down. This time, take your fingertips. Let's involve them a little bit. So your fingertips are curling over your surface and almost like they're clawing back in this direction. Activate your center core. So that transverse is that deep abdominal core muscle that starts in your thoracolumbar fascia, wraps around like a corset. And you're pulling your hips back into the left slightly. Relax to come back up. So your hands are to the right. They're resisting down and back, and you're pulling your hips back into the left. Head drops down, head looks up, and back up. We have 2 more on this side. Taking a quiet moment to learn about your body. Look down, feel that difference, look up. Good. We're fleshing out tissue adhesions that are not serving us in this particular pathway. To stay safe, we keep the muscles contracted. Relax to come up. Walking to the other side, both hands on the other block or just slightly to your left. Hands resist back, fingertips are curling and clawing down and back. You're pulling the hips back into the right. I'm going to adjust a little bit further back here. Start over, activate your core. Feeling everything working together. If you're new to this takes a little bit of time to get used to. So your body will start to feel more natural in doing this type of work, but it might take a little bit of time to get there. You always have the option to contract your muscles less, to move less, meaning you're not pulling back all the way. If you lose a muscle contraction somewhere and something doesn't feel quite locked and loaded, don't go any further. See if you can get it back, or just go to that point and start again. One more time here. And release. Let's move the blocks forward. Drop down to your elbows. Karate chop pinkies into the floor. Elbows and forearms pull back underneath you as if they're going to slide towards your belly. Nice neutral neck position. Ribs are integrated slightly up as you pull your hips back towards your heels. Relax to come forward. You're starting more in front over your hands, so you have somewhere to go as you pull back. Karate chop. What's interesting about this one, you might feel that it's more difficult to keep one pinky down versus the other. For me, today, my right pinky wants to flutter around. It doesn't want to stay connected to the floor. So I'm going to let that be my lead. I'm only going to move back as far as I'm able to feel comfortable with my right arm connecting to the floor and the pinky. 2 more wherever you are. Neutral neck. Breath is flowing. 1 more. Bringing it forward. Kick it back. Keep kicking it back. And hips pull back. Whoo. Press through the hands using your muscles contracted as you transition out. Always giving yourself that natural craving of muscle contraction. Just like animals do in nature. They push into the floor as they move away. Great job today. Hope that felt good. If you have any questions or if something came up for you, feel free to drop me a comment. I'd love to hear about it. And more of this to come. These directional changes, slightly different pathways, more or less resistance. All of that is up to your control. There's ways that we can cue it for you to dive into it more. But as you're doing the work, what your body's telling you is really what you need. Super proud of you. Keep up the good work. And I'll see you again soon.